Toulouse and did the viticulture also in Toulouse at Purpan, and made the wine till 1994. That was my last vintage. Making the wine good, but selling it is more important. So I shifted to the commercial part of it, and I'm the export director. I still work with the French winemaker to do the blending. Our French winemaker is James Palgier. He used to be with the Prieuré Lichin in Margaux. I'm sure you know this name. So this is who I am, and if you don't mind, we can start the presentation. Shall we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Let me share the content. But perhaps we should start with the white wine, which is the Marwa. Before we start like this, we will have a glass in our hand. Take some sips of it. Do you hear me? Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
No?
Hear you.
You hear me? Okay. So the first one that we taste is the Marwa. Marwa, which means the windmill in Arabic. It's grown in a village that is called Duma. And now we're taking another village that is called Tanurin. And it's between 1500 and 1700 meter of altitude. The vines are more than 70 years old, and there's no rootstocks. It was planted as it is, and no rootstocks.
Oh. Let me see where Elie is. Elie? Ah, there you are. I don't think we can hear Elie now. Hey, there you are.
Can you hear? Yeah?
Yes, we hear you again.
So I presented the wine. Did you hear me? Did you hear the presentation? Yeah? Good. Shall we start the presentation now? We have our glass. Yes. I will talk about the taste later on, but we have our glass now. So I presented the region where it's grown, and I'll tell you how it was made once we finish the presentation.
Okay, can everybody see the presentation?
Yes.
Very good. Oh no, I lost Elie.
Do you see?
Yeah. Can everybody hear Elie?
No.
Or interrupted?
No.
No. Let me see. How can we handle this?
Elie's muted.
Elie. Oh.
Yes,
Yes, there you are.
I unmuted. Yes.
Okay. Is this the right slide, Elie?
Yeah, we can start by this one. Are you going to move it or I move it?
If you can move it, go ahead.
I cannot. Although I put the share content, I should be the one.
Okay. Can you
doing
move it
it
now? Can you share it again?
Yeah, I'm sharing it again. Voila. Can you see it?
I can see
You
it.
see it now?
Yeah.
Good. So just some history about Lebanon, about the region, about the Phoenicia before that, and the surrounding region, the viticulture. So as you can see, this line that starts 5,500 years before Christ and till the present time. So modern scholars are confident that the early Lebanese created the wine culture, and there are some frescoes about that. Then 3,000 years before Christ, we had the Canaanite and the Phoenician, who were our ancestors, who spread the vine growing and the winemaking through the Mediterranean, starting by Egypt, Upper Egypt, Alexandria, the Pharaoh's wines, then Cyprus, then went up to Greece, and finished by arriving to Rome. And this is where it was spread. And we are sure that a lot of the grape varieties that were grown in Cyprus, came from the Phoenicia, from this part of the world. Then came the Middle Ages, and then of course the vine growing continued, and the exports started from the very port of Tyre and Sidon, which are in south of Lebanon. This is the part where most of the wine were exported in the ships, in the Phoenician ships, and went to all over Europe. In 1517, the Ottoman occupied this region, and during this period, unfortunately, no more production of wine because of confessional reasons. So most of the grapes and the vineyards that were planted were converted into table grapes for eating, and no more grapes for making the wine. So we made the wines. I mean, the priest made the wines for the mass celebration from the grapes that were destined for making the wine, like the Marwah and the Ubaidi. So Marwah, the one that we've tasted, they used to make the sweet wine out of those two grape varieties, because they were supposed to be grape varieties, table varieties, and not for making the wines. So unfortunately, since that date, we have lost our autochthon grape varieties. So no more grape varieties destined for making the wine. And when you buy a bottle of this wine, unfortunately, all what you've seen is Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Chardonnay, Sauvignon. This is what you can see. The only two grape varieties are white, the autochthon, and the genuine are the Marwa and Ubaidi. These are the only ones. And this is why I said that I'm sure that a lot of the grapes that were grown in the region, surrounding region like Greece and Cyprus, come from Lebanon. We are doing our research to prove that, but it takes a lot of time. Then, by the end of the First World War, 23,000 soldiers, French soldiers, stayed in the Bekaa. Their caserne, they had their headquarters, and as being French, they needed wine. So Ksara was the only wine that existed, And since that date, the production multiplied by 5, 6, or 7, and the production increased drastically since that moment. In 1943, the Lebanon got the independence from the French mandate, and we could consider that this is the economic golden age era because it was the financial hub in the Arab country. Everything, all the money transited by Beirut. So it was a really flourishing period of our country. Then, unfortunately, in 1975, the war started. As you can see the pictures, this is the demarcation line. And we thought it will stay for 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. But in fact, it stayed 17 years. Well, most of the capital and a lot of regions in the north and in the south were destroyed during this war. In 1992 was the end of the war, the civil war, and then the new opportunities came, and then the production of wine kicked off. And by that time, only 5 wineries existed. Now there are 61 wineries producing wine in Lebanon. So as you can see, it's a big boom that happened. Also, some facts, some old facts. Noah, who was known by being the first viticulture and wine grower and the winemaker, he lived in this part of the world, and there's a village near Zahle, which is the capital of the Bekaa, that is called Karak Nuh. Karak Nuh means the tomb of Noah, and it's at 7 kilometers away from the city of Zahle. And there are some vestiges left over there. Then, as Ria said, she talked about the temple of Bacchus. Just to tell you, 17 temples of Bacchus exist in the world, but by far, and I mean by far, the largest and the most well-kept temple is the one that is in Heliopolis. Heliopolis, which is now called Baalbek. Heliopolis means the sun, having 300 days of sun per year. So during this period, the Greco and Roman era happened, and then they were the one who built this huge temple related to Bacchus. And here we're talking about almost 3,000 years of age, and still kept, as you can see it in the picture. And to finish with the history, I have chosen this part of the Old Testament. During at the Old Testament, Lebanon was mentioned 6 times in the Old Testament, but I have chosen this sentence of Hosea 14:7 that says, "They shall return and dwell beneath my shadow. They shall flourish like the grain. They shall blossom like the vine, and their fame shall be like the one of Lebanon." So this is at Hosea 14:7. And when we talk about Old Testament, we talk about 2,500 years of age. Then came the Christianity era, where Jesus Christ achieved his first miracle in Cana, when he changed the water into wine. I see Ria smiling and laughing, yes. And Cana is in South Lebanon. We have a small vineyard of 1.7 hectares in Cana of Merlot. And recently, I mean 2 years ago, there was discovered the vats, very old vats, destined for making the wine in Cana. And now they are exploring it. A German committee is working on it to show the process of winemaking in this part of the south. Well, this was the history and the region. If you don't have any questions, I can continue if you don't mind. Okay, so now we'll talk about the production of wine in Lebanon. Lebanon is situated on the 34th latitude, and as you know, the vines destined for making the wine are planted between the 30th and the 50th latitude in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere. So being close to the limit, 34, and the limit is 30, we compensate of latitude by the altitude. So the Lebanese, most of the Lebanese production starts at 900 meters of altitude and goes up to 1700 meters of altitude. We have the proof in the Marwah glass in front of us. So it's the highest, not amongst the highest, it's the highest vineyard in the northern hemisphere, reaching 1700 meters of altitude and plant. We have some vines in the Jura in Swiss at 600, 700, some in Spain at 1,000, 1,100, but they represent 1 or 2%, but never more than 1,200, 1,300. So it is the highest vineyard in the northern hemisphere. Now, where Lebanon is situated, as you can see, it's a very small strip with two series of mountains, Mount Lebanon in red and Anti-Lebanon also in red. That separates Lebanon from Syria. As you can see in the north and on the east, we are surrounded by Syria, and in the south, we have Palestine, Israel in the south. So as you can see, we're not we're blessed by having a very nice climatic conditions, but we're not at all lucky with our neighbors. We have been shot in the worst part of the, if we may say. Our best is the Mediterranean Sea. So as I said, Bekaa Valley is between those two series of mountains, Mount Lebanon that goes to 3,800 meters of altitude, where the cedars are. So, and we have snow that stays over there till the months of July, August. And then the Anti-Lebanon that separates Lebanon from Syria goes up to 2,300 meters of altitude. So what happens during the time, all the snow that comes on these mountains, they will create the reserve, as in springtime the snow will melt down and when we'll go down to the valley, and then we create the reserve of the soil. And that is why the vines in the Bekaa are not irrigated, unless we are on a very hard slope of more than 15 to 20 degrees. Then in this case we have to irrigate. But in general, the vineyards are not irrigated. So just to give you an idea about the surface of Lebanon, from the northern part to the southern part, it's 137 kilometers, and in the width between the sea and Syria is the medium is 37 kilometers. So the total surface is 10,500 kilometers. That's all. It's a very, very, very small country, as big as the Aquitaine in Bordeaux, if you know the region. So a very, very small country. Telling you this, why do I tell you this? Because being such a small country, we cannot produce any type of wine. So the only solution for us, we cannot compete in quantities, but we can surely compete with the quality. And the production of wine of Lebanon is really of high quality, because we have no other choice but to produce quality wines.
So Elie, how do you
Yes.
produce wines every year in this region with your lovely neighbors, and well,
Yeah. Oh, how
how,
much do we? How, how,
how do you do that? How many vintages did you
well,
miss
well,
because of
we haven't missed any single vintage. We produced
one?
every single vintage, even in 1975, where the war was really at the door of Ksara. Ksara was the no man's land between the Christian side and the Muslim side. It was really a very dangerous region. And even though there happened some production, a very small production of the vines that are in the neighborhood of Ksara, but not from the vineyards outside the property. So we did not stop, not even in 1982 when the Israeli invasion happened, not even in 2006 when also another invasion happened. So we never stopped producing wine. Of course, the quantities are different, but not a single year we stopped producing the wine. It's not easy to produce wine in Lebanon. Believe me, it's really very, very dangerous. I don't know if you've heard about the film, The Wine and War, The Wine and War. It's a new film that has been shot in Lebanon. Vines and war and vines. So very, very nice movie that will be diffused, I think, very, very soon.
Okay,
Yeah. The vineyards, the total surface of vineyards is 3,000 hectares. 3,000 hectares, out of which 2,000 hectares, or to be exact, 1,200 hectares are destined for making the arak, and the remaining part is for making the wine. The arak is the national drink. So we use 3 grape varieties, the Marwa, the Ubaidi, and Uni Blanc, to turn it into alcohol, and then we distill it 3 times with aniseed, with fresh aniseed. And this is the national drink called arak. And we need 11 liters. Yeah.
it's a eau de vie, right?
Yeah, it's some eau de vie, and then we distill it with aniseed. It's 53 degrees. And it's used during the lunch or dinner, during the, it's not as an aperitif, we use it the whole meal, during the whole meal. So the distribution of the wineries, 52% are in the Bekaa, and then 30% in the north of Lebanon, that's the Batroun region, and then 15% in Mount Lebanon. The most famous one is Muzar, who is in Mount Lebanon, but he has his vineyards in the Bekaa. And then 3% in the south of Lebanon, in the region of Jazin. So as you can see, 1,800 hectares is extremely, extremely small. A small cooperative winery in south of France has more than 2,000, 3,000 hectares. Listel, I'm sure you know Listel. Listel is 5,200 hectares of vines. The whole Lebanon for wine is 1,800. So as I said, and I repeat, we have no other choice but to produce quality wines. Now we finish with the viticulture, with the climatic conditions. Again, if you have any questions, I'm glad to respond to your questions whenever you have. Do you want to make a small intervention now, or should I questions later? Yeah.
Any questions?
Okay.
No, just write them down in the chat or unmute yourself. Now, everybody still happy with the Merwa in the glass?
Cheers.
Yes? Okay. Go ahead, Elie.
Okay. The microclimatic condition, why I say microclimatic, because it's I'm talking about the Bekaa, and then, as you know, it's a very small production in the Bekaa. That's why we call it microclimatic conditions, because it's stuck between 2 mountains. As I said, the altitude is different, and it has a different climatic conditions, different to the one that we have in the rest of the country. So it might be snowing in the Bekaa, and we might having just some rain in Beirut, because of the existence of the two series of mountains. Whenever you have the clouds that are passing, it's caught between those two mountains, especially when the clouds comes from the south up to the north, from the east going to the west. It's caught between those two mountains, and then it diverts all its rain or its snow on the mountains and on the plain of the Bekaa. Well, in fact, it's called the valley, but in fact, it's not a valley. It's a plateau at 1,000 meters altitude and goes up, as I said, to 1,800 meters altitude. I don't know if you know that we have in Lebanon 6 skiing stations in 6 different mountains. And that was the reason why they used to call it the Switzerland of the Orient, for 2 reasons. First reason was the banking sector, which was very flourishing.
Van joh, vertel eens wat over de eerste wijn. Dat heeft u blijkbaar nog niet gedaan.
Okay. Do you have any questions? So
yeah,
I was.
Question from Paul, if you could tell us more about the Merwa. But I think you have a
Sure.
in your presentation, but maybe you can do it nice. Yeah?
Yeah, I have no problem. Yeah. So the Marwah, we used these vines for more than 37 years. As I said, it's more than 70 years old vines. We used to make the arak. And to make the arak, so you have to ferment it and then to distill it. And we this one 4 years ago. We said, why not trying to ferment it separately and then make it as a wine? And so we experienced it for 4 years before agreeing that this is the way to ferment it, and this is the to put it in bottles. So we ferment it at low temperature, at higher temperature, with the lees stirring, without the lees stirring, keeping it in oak cask, and then something else. But we saw no oak in it. This is a wine not to use any oak with it. It should.
Oh, I lost Elie. Just a moment, Elie we lost connection with Elie. Is he back? No. Just a moment. Well, we have to wait for Elie now. Ah, there he is. Elie, you're muted.
Unmute.
Yeah. There you are.
Okay, great. So I was telling you about the Marwah still we experienced for 4 years before deciding to put it in wine, to make it as a wine. And our first release was in 2017. It's hand-picked vines. If you come to Lebanon, it's a really beautiful region to go and visit. It's called Douma, and the other village really next to it is called Tanourin. And we're talking about 1,500 meters to 1,700 meter of altitude. And then it's in terraces. Really very old vines. It's huge. You need a person, 2 persons.
Something with connection. But well, yeah, the vines are about 60 years old. Let's see whether we can find Elie again. No, well, we have to wait for Elie now, but the vines were about 60 years old. The first vintage was like 2017. First, they used it for the Arak, the eau de vie. And well, now they're making like a single variety wine of it. Yeah, Elie is almost there.
I'm really sorry for this bad connection. Must be the bad weather.
Can happen.
Yeah.
We can still hear you. We can.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can see you, but please.
Yes. I can. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can see you. I can hear you.
Okay. Very good. How about
Go
the
ahead.
others? Yeah. So just to finish with the Mirwah, it's as I said, it's hand picked and it's fermented at 15 to 17 degrees of temperature, and we keep it on lees for 2 days only. And the pressurage is very, very light.
Okay, I have a suggestion of Elizabeth. Maybe the connection is more stable without Elie's video. I will see whether we can do that. Elie? Elie,
Yes.
Is it all right if we turn off the video so we can hear you? Maybe that's better for...
Of course.
Yes? Okay. So just
Yeah, of
keep
course,
on.
of course, no problem.
We will listen to you.
I'm really sorry, everybody. I'm really sorry for this bad connection. Must be the storm or the very bad connection system in Lebanon. Yeah.
Okay. So we will listen to you, Elie.
Okay. Okay. So I presented the Mirwah. I said it's handpicked and then very low yield. We're talking about 37 hectares per hectare, which means 6 or 7 bunches per tree, not more than this. So it is very concentrated.
Is Merwa related to Semillon?
No. We were thinking that it was related. Some people they say it's related to Semillon, related to Chardonnay. Well, I did the test in Switzerland at the ETHQ at the university in Changin, and we found out that it has nothing to do with the Semillon nor with the Chardonnay. Unfortunately, we are hoping that this could be the grandfather or the relative of the Chardonnay or the Semillon that came from Lebanon, but unfortunately, it was not the case. It has nothing to do with the
With the Semillon. Okay. Oh, we lost him again, I think. Thank you all for your patience. Okay, I don't hear anything. Do you hear Elie? I guess he's...
yeah.
There you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, we can hear you too.
Okay, excellent. You know what? I will try to get it on the hotspot from my phone. Perhaps could be better. Just 2 seconds.
I have your sheets from the presentation here, so we can do the presentation. So, well, now that we wait for Elie, maybe you could tell us what you think about the Merwa.
Maybe,
I hear Elie.
yes. Do we put the video on? Will we try with the video on?
Let's try. Okay.
Do you see me?
Well,
It's better?
Yeah, we can hear you, we can see you.
Okay, excellent. So I presented the region, as I said, it's between 1,500 and 1,700 meter altitude. The yield is very low, 37 hectares per hectare, which means 6 or 7 bunches of grapes by tree, not more than this. The fermentation happens at very low temperature, between 15 and 17 degrees, and then we leave it on the lees fin for 2 days, not more than this. In order to keep this freshness and not to have this slightly buttery taste. And we think this is the best way to ferment it and then to keep it. So if you want to talk about the wines, that's very nice bright color. The nose, floral nose. White flowers. If you go to Tanurine, you have this bushes that makes white flowers very nice flowers. I mean, not planted. It's naturally grown in the fields, and it resembles so much to this type of smell. So floral and ripe and expressive, pure citrusy, citrusy note with the green apples, some points of green apples, and a dash of honey. Honey is really in the second nose, very, very pronounced. And you've seen this minerality in this wine, in the nose and in the mouth. It has schist. It's the one of the rare part of Lebanon where you have schist slate on the vines. Now in the mouth, it's really refreshing, crisp. The linear refreshing acidity. Really, it has nice and even high acidity, and that is why it's really great with the seafood and fish. And it's also have this distinctive salty character. Have you noticed at the end of the mouth? It leaves some salty character in it. It's like sucking on a salted lemon. Lemon, and then you put salt. It's resembled a little bit to this, and then the finish is really pleasant with this, just really slightly bitter tang on the finish, which makes you want to have another glass, want to have another sip and another glass. It's really very refreshing as a wine. And how do we use it? We use it a lot with the fried fish. We have the small fried fish. I don't know if you remember, Ria, the small fish that we ordered that was called Sultan Ibrahim. Yeah. So Sultan Ibrahim, it's fried. and it goes really, really well. It goes well with, of course, the fish in oven. And I've tried it last year. It was really, really marvelous with lobster pasta with lobster sauce, and it was great, you know. And it goes very well with the meze, of course. But what kind of meze? Falafel goes really well with the falafel and the fattoush, of course, because fattoush you need something that is acid to go with it, and the hummus, because the hummus has some what do I say? It's a little bit fatty, or yes, you need something to cut through this fatness of the hummus, and this goes really great with it. Voila, that's for the marwa. Yes.
It's lovely balanced. It has very refreshing acidity, and still it has a quite full body.
Yeah, it's a huge success, I can tell you, all over Europe, and even in the States. I just started selling it in the States. It's a very small production. It's 1,700 bottles. That's all. It's one vineyard that we use it for, and it's above this we have no more marwa. So it's only this small amount that we produce, and it's only destined for the export.
Oh wow!
I'm really proud for this of this wine, because it was really a huge success. Thank God. Yeah.
Yes.
And what I adore in this wine, not only the acidity, it's the salty side of it. It's really strange. I haven't tasted the one with this salty finish. I don't know what thinks the our guest. What do they think? Any comments?
What do you think of this wine? I see thumbs up.
Okay.
Excellent.
Very good.
Thank
Excellent. You. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Great.
So if you go to the base, yes.
Shall we taste the next wine?
Oops. What happened? What are you having? What are you having? I see.
What's that?
What was the dish?
Henriette?
It's babaganoush.
Hey guys. Hi Elie. How are you doing?
Wow. So how did you find with the baba ganoush?
I made it myself from Otto Lengi. So it's easy to make. Yeah. And we've been at your place as well. But Richard is our best friend, but you know him, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, they have been to your winery, to your cellar last year.
Oh, really?
In February, yeah.
So did you like it? Did you like the visit?
Yeah, it was nice.
Great.
Mm.
And so you put pomegranate grains on it?
So I roasted the aubergine above the hob, because that's the easiest way. And I put aubergine in it, and lemon and garlic and pomegranate.
Looks very nice. But honestly, it goes really, really, really great with the hummus and the falafel.
Okay.
When I talk about Lebanese, it really goes very well with those. Yeah. Of course, fish and this type of dishes, of course, goes really well with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable combination, Elie. The merwa this dish. Very good, very good.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Hi.
Hi. Very tasty. It fits perfectly.
Bon appetit. I'm glad to hear that. That's excellent.
Merci.
Glad you like it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, shall we taste? Oh, well, Iris says the merwa is absolutely delicious, and the salty dimension is definitely remarkable. Wonderful. I completely agree with you. Yes.
Great. So the next wine is the Cuvée de Printemps. The Cuvée de Printemps should be consumed at 12 to 13 degrees. So it should be chilled a little bit. It's a wine that is that is made by the way, what we call it, the carbonic maceration. I don't know if you have any idea about the carbonic maceration. So what is the carbonic maceration? It's like doing the Beaujolais, but Beaujolais village. You know what happens? So we pick up the grapes. Before that, I should tell you that this is made with 60% gamay, so the grapes of the Beaujolais, and 40% what's his name? Tempranillo, the Spanish grape variety, Tempranillo. Yeah, Tempranillo is used to bring the some structure to this wine, the frame for this wine, and the gamay, this really lovely fruits, red fruits in it. And that's why I always consider to put it in the fridge and then keep it for half an hour in the fridge and consume it at 12, 13 degrees. So the harvest is done in bunches, whole bunches, and we put them in cases. We bring the cases to the winery, and at the winery, we fill in the vat with CO2. You know, a bottle of CO2, we fill it in. And then since the CO2 is heavier than the air, it pushes the oxygen out of the vat. And at this moment, we put the grapes inside of it. No distimmer. It's the whole bunches. And the fermentation starts inside the grapes, inside the bay of grape, and then it bursts the grape, and then the juice comes out of it. So we put it in the vat, and then the fermentation will start. And then 4 days later, we devat it. We take it out of the vat, and then we press it. We press it very gently, so it will ferment without the skins. And that is why it has this light red, nice color, but it's not very deep because it doesn't take the color from the skins. So it's fermented as if it was a rosé wine, fermented separately. The juice without the skins. So as you can smell, it's very, very flowery on the nose. Very nice red fruits. So the violet is very present. The flower violet is really very present, and it's typical to the gamay grape variety. A lot of fruits, an explosion of fruits in the nose. So it's like English candy, bonbon anglais. It's very typical. Strawberry and red cherries, and a little bit spicy, white spices, white pepper.
Oh, Anneke says, I remember the smell from Beaujolais in its better days.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, and in the mouth, it's a semi-carbonic maceration. It's not a complete like the Beaujolais. It's semi, because 70% is carbonic maceration and 30% regular fermentation of the Tempranillo. So that is why it's different, and that is why this one could age for 2 or 3 years, but not more than this. While the Beaujolais Village or the Beaujolais Nouveau is only 6 months, 1 year, not more than this. But it has some reminder. It has nice, in the mouth, you have this round and supple and mellow tannins in it. It has some tannins, but very, very round and very supple and very mellow. And the attack is very, very round, very easy drinking wine. This is an exposure of flowery violet along with the red fruits and the strawberry in it.
Yes, it still has structure. The tannins are very supple and quite soft, but it still has structure, the wine.
Very, very mellow, very, very round tannin, very soft. What would you take it with? What do you think?
Yeah. Ara says, open one day ahead, the Cuvée de Printemps is even more delicious.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's like a third quencher. It's really, you can have it without food, well chilled on the balcony or next to the swimming pool. It really goes really, really well even without food. But with food, I love it with pizza. I love it with pasta. It's really pasta with the red sauce, pomodoro. It's really, really, really great. And this is with the baba ganoush. It's better with the baba ganoush than the marwah, I think. We should tell our friends and tell which one do you prefer with the baba ganoush. I think this one with the aubergine goes better with the aubergine than the marwah. But of course, the tastes are not the same all over. So
yeah.
So hi again.
Hi.
So, did you try it? It's still closed. You didn't open it. We're on the red now.
You're already on the next one.
With the red one.
No, the red one. You should try the red one, the cuvée de printemps with the baba ganoush. This
Okay, that's the reason. Okay, we will try.
We drink this one.
Oh yeah, you're almost done. That's good. So please try it with the baba ganoush and let me know. It really goes well because it has this fumé and then this burnt aubergine in the oven.
Shukran.
Okay,
Cheers.
so the pasta with the baba ganoush, and and I would say steak tartare as well.
Yeah, why not? Why not? But it's perhaps it's too fruity with the steak tartare. I don't know why not. Why not? It's really good with cutlets, the jambon de Parme. It goes really well with this type of food. And what I like it with is the poulet aux olives, the chicken and with olives, stuffed with olives. And you put it
From
in
the oven
from the oven, and then put olives inside of it with some rice. It's really perfect with the chicken.
That's good. Well, if you don't finish the bottle tonight, buy a chicken for tomorrow and some olives and put it in the oven.
In oven and with a lot of garlic. It goes really well with the garlic. If you like the garlic, excellent with garlic.
We made this chicken 3 times a week.
Oh, that's
delicious.
So please try it and then let me know if it goes with it. But please chill it, 12 to 13 degrees chill, and use it with the chicken and garlic. And if you can stuff it with the olives, this is really
all kinds of things underneath the skin and things. We call it chicken benali. It's so delicious.
Benali. Oh yeah.
Well,
what do you stuff it with?
Paul says, why this exceptional blend of Tempranillo and Gamay?
Yeah, I will tell you why. The Gamay brings the fruits to this wine. It's an explosion of fruits, but it doesn't have a frame. So the frame comes. Someone talked about compared it to the Beaujolais, and it's better than the Beaujolais. The frame is the Tempranillo. Tempranillo have spices and then has nice tannins. So the combination complete each other. You have the fruits, and next to it you have the frame. You have the slight tannins, slight round and mellow tannins that comes from the Tempranillo. I think it's a very nice combination, both of them. At the beginning we started with Gamay only. It wasn't that good. And then we introduced the Tempranillo at 20%. We said it's not enough, and then we went up to 40%. And we have been using this with the Tempranillo since 2001, so very long time.
Okay.
You have other questions?
Yes, Ralph asks, why does this wine have a French name and not an Arabic, like the Merlot?
Yeah, Merlot is the name of the grapes. That's the name of the grapes. It's called Merwah. But, you know, we were under the mandate, the French mandate for such a long time. It's Francophone country. And if you notice on all our labels written in French, the labels are in French. I know we prefer to have some Arabic name, but believe me, it was not easy to put Arabic on the label. Some people at the export were shocked to see Arabic, or I can tell you, I was shocked to hear them when he said, "Why do you put Arabic? It's better to remove the Arabic." And I said, the beauty of this label is that it's written in Arabic calligraphy, and it's like that. You take it or you take it or you leave it. It's we cannot change it. I love the way it's written, the Arabic. So the French have very strong influence on the Lebanese production, wine production. So that's why it's called the Cuvée de Printemps. It's Printemps because we finish it in spring. It's not like the Beaujolais. Beaujolais has just been released. Yesterday was released, while this one is never released before the spring. Because as I said, it's not only carbonic maceration, it's a regular fermentation. And it finishes its fermentation in February. And we put it in bottles in March or in April. That's early spring. That's the secret of the name, Cuvée de Printemps. Voilà.
What would it be in Arabic?
Rabia.
How?
Rabia. Rabia is Rabia. Wait. It's Rabih. Rabia.
So
that's the name in Arabic. Yeah. In Lebanon they call it Rabia. Ahmar Rabia. Ahmar is red. Ahmar Rabia. They call it Ahmar Rabia. It's the red of spring.
Oh well, sounds good as well.
This could be the Arabic name for it. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we taste the third wine?
You don't want to finish the presentation because I still have some slides, or we don't have time anymore.
Yeah, we can.
If you don't have time anymore,
Yeah, well,
we don't. Okay.
There are no clubs to go to or restaurants, so.
Okay. So. Okay. So shall I continue the presentation, or we go to the Réserve Gouan?
Let's vote. Some more slides, so you can drink the Cuvée de Printemps, and then we can see some slides. Okay, go ahead. Will you share the slides, Elie?
Yes.
Yes.
I arrived to the climatic conditions, as I said, microclimatic conditions. We are at the 34th northern latitude, and the altitude of the vines is between 1,000 and 1,600 meters of altitude. We have a temperature sums, which is the sum of temperature divided by 365 days, and it makes 3,000 hours of sunshine. Annual rainfall between 500 and 700 millimeters of rainfall, mainly in winter time and in what's it called, the autumn and in winter time. In springtime we have less than 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall. That's all. And then we have snow between 15 and 20 days. When I'm talking about snow, I'm talking about snow on the vines, not on the mountains, on the vines. So irrigation, when needed, as I said, when we have slopes, we irrigate. If not, we do not irrigate. And when we arrive to the average of temperature during summertime, I don't know, for those of you who went to the Bekaa in summertime, during the day, it's like 30, 35 degrees easily. But as soon as the sun sets behind the mountains, it drops 20 degrees. So during the night, it's 12 to 13 degrees. And then during the day, 35 degrees. So it's 20 degrees of difference between the days and the night, which permits for the vines to support the heat of the day. And this is very important to lengthen the green period, which means the maturity period. So instead of having just after the veraison, when it starts to change the color, instead of having 100 days and then we do the harvest, we have sometimes 110 days, 120 days some years. So it lengthens this period, and it's like cooking. Instead of cooking on high fire, we cook on very low fire. And by cooking on very low fire, we keep all the aromas and the substances, and then the smell and the flavors are kept in the wine. Humidity is very low. Humidity is 40 to 50 degrees. Even if you go outside in the fields and it's 35 degrees, you can walk for half an hour and you do not sweat, because it's really very, very dry. And having this dryness in the on the fields, this means that there's no development of mushrooms. You know, the mushrooms, they need humidity, they need water. So if you don't have water and humidity, you don't have this production of diseases on the vines. So we treat our vines only with the sulfur, which is a natural component. Then the harvest is done between September and October. The snow is very important. It's a natural pesticide. This is the same vine from a different angle. This was taken last year on December 12th, and you can see you have almost 20 centimeters of snow on the vines. You know, so when the snow falls down, it falls in good quantities. So the vines are planted on terraces, steep terraces, and sometimes on hillside. It's well drained vineyards, and all the grapes are hand harvested. We don't have any machines. Everything is done manually. Well, we have a lot of handy workers. We have 1.5 million Syrian refugees, so a lot of workers that you could use for the harvest, and therefore we use eco-friendly practices to lower the risk of rot.
Is it possible to Elie?
Excuse me? Yes.
Is it possible to make like natural wines or biodynamic wines, since you don't have a lot of pesticides?
Well, it is possible and easily achievable, you know. But till now, no one have tried to make it, because we're producing natural wine. And then when you talk about natural wine, it's not only talk. You take this wine and then you take it to the laboratory and then you analyze it, and you will see that we have no traces of plum, of mercury, or it's very easy to realize that these wines. But it's coming now. Some of the wineries are starting to do this research. But you know, you have to be very careful on this side, because if you have next to you a garden that is planted with tomato or whatever, and they spray, the wind may take it and then bring it to your vine. So it could be a problem. You have to choose the part where you want to have the certification upon. Or the changes is coming inside the territory and inside the fields that are grown south. So the plantation of vines is growing year after year. So less tomato and other maraîcher plantation, and more vines for both, for table grown and for wine. We're planting very new plantation of table grapes that are really giving exceptional results also. So on both sides, we're working on vines for eating and vines for making the wine. I come back for the altitude. As I said, the 1,000 meters that it starts. Just to give you an idea, comparison with other vineyards in Europe, let's say, Champagne is between 100 and 200 meters of altitude. Alsace is between 200 and 400 meters of altitude. And we start at 1,000 meters. Just to give you an idea about the elevation and the altitude. But as I said, we have no other choices because we are low in latitude on the 34th. We have to go up in altitude. The type of soil, we have 4 major types of soil, but mostly calcareous soil, like in here, 80% calcareous soil. Only 5% on the planet is calcareous, just to give you an idea. 5% of the global soil is calcareous, while in the Bekaa it's 80% calcareous. Another type of soil is limestone and clay on bedrock. And here we have the best plantation of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. Really gives really nice results on these vines. This is in the north of the Bekaa. Then we have the schist. I talked about the schist in Tanourin and in Shmizin. That's in the north of Lebanon. This is Merlot plantation on this type of soil. And then we have the Marwah that is planted on this type of soil. And as you can see, the slate, the schist on the vines, so it gives very mineral taste to the wine in the nose and in the mouth.
And it's very dark, so probably it absorbs a lot of heat and sunshine.
Exactly, because it reflects on the other side. So, and here a really quick timetable of Ksara in the Bekaa. So in 1857 is the Jesuit's father who acquired the estate of Ksara of 25 hectares, and they started the growing of vines, but on a very, very small scale. They produced some white wine, some red wine for their own consumption, but mostly sweet wine for the mass celebration, because they were delivering to all the monasteries in Lebanon. So they produced, they were the only winery to produce sweet wine for the mass celebration. In 1898, the grotto was discovered. You remember the grotto, Ria? And the gentleman who came to visit us, I'm sure you remember the grotto. So it was discovered thanks to a fox. So the priest had a fox, had a poultry, a chicken house, and one day it was attacked by a fox. And as you know, the fox could attack a chicken house and kill 20 birds and only eat one. So the destruction is huge. So they have to track this fox, and this is what they did. And they followed him, and he disappeared between two rocks. And the next day they blew these 2 rocks, and this is how they discovered a cave, a Roman cave, dating from more than 2,500 years old. We did the carbon-14, and it's more than 2,500 years old caves. And the length of these caves is 2.1 kilometers, where we have 1.2 million bottles lying in these caves. And the first, the oldest ones is 1918. Why 1918? Because 400 families during the First World War in 1914 took refuge in Ksara, And since the monastery was a French monastery and the priests were French, so they have immunity. The Turkish or Ottoman army did not have the right to go into the propriety of Ksara. So they were protected, they were fed, but they had to work. And this is what they did. For 4 years, they turned this grotto into a wine cellar. And it was finished in 1918. And that is why we still have wines dating from 1918. You remember the ones that you've seen all the years from 1918 till these days.
Yes.
Here's the Jesuit, the first observatory that was built in the region. This is the building of the observatory. The monks in their shorts bringing these equipments, earthquake measures and then rainfall measures. In 1973, the Pope P6 decided to drop this activity and to sell the property of Ksara. And this is how it passed from the hand of the Jesuits to the actual owners now. So apparently the monks were more in the spirit than the spiritual, more in the spirits than the spiritual matters. So a lot of fighting between them, and this was the reason why the winery was sold in 1973. And this is the signature of Pope P6 when the property passed from the Jesuits till the actual owners of Ksara. 1991, 1992, when the war ended, and then the new grape varieties were introduced, like the Marcelin, the Semillon, and the Chardonnay came along, and then changed the production era. 2007 was the anniversary year, 150 years of existence for Ksara. Unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate. We were intending to make a really huge celebration. In 2007, we had the occupation, the Israeli occupation, so it wasn't possible. But we did a special wine for this period, that is called Le Souverain. And it's made from Arinar Noir and Marcelin. It's a super great wine. And now the wine has 162 years old. Just 2 words, you were asking about the economic situation in Lebanon. It's a disastrous one. I will finish with those 2 slides. So we have what we call the capital control by the banks on the accounts holders. So I cannot put any money, I cannot transfer to my son who's in the States, who's studying. I cannot send him any single penny from the banks. So it's official what could I say, robbery from the account holders. It's good that we have a small account in France that we could manage to do it, but it's a very, very difficult times. And then you talk with Lebanese and they will tell you, we prefer the days where we had the shelling, where we had the war on, compared to what we're having now. We have 1.5 million refugees, Syrian refugees. The economy is in its baddest crisis, but really bad crisis. And the Lebanese lira, which is the local Lebanese currency, lost 70% of its value in just 6 months. 70%, you imagine. So what you used to buy at $100 became now $700. You have to pay for it in order to get it. So it's a really, really tough times for the Lebanese, really tough times. And then besides that, we have this huge explosion that you must have heard about it. And on the right of the screen, you have the same shot, as you can see, of Beirut. It was the eastern part of Beirut that was destroyed. I'm sorry to say this, the Christian part of it that was destroyed. And you can see down there, after the destruction, the huge destruction of the whole neighborhood. if you remember San Mikael, Jemaizi, Ashrafiyeh, all these were really very, very badly hit, very badly hit. It was a disaster. So this was even worse. And why is it worse for us, for the wineries? Because it's the strip of streets where you have most of the restaurants and the bars. So completely destroyed, this part, completely destroyed. So 60% of the restaurants and bars in Beirut were lost, and the other 40 were affected. But yeah, we're surviving, but it's really hard days ahead of us. Well, that's it. We can finish with the last one, which is the reserve Cuban. Let's drink for the health of the Netherlands and Lebanon. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you, Elie. Thank you. And I'm really sorry that things are going that bad in Lebanon. I mean, not only the explosion, but also the economic situation.
Exactly. If I show you pictures of our office, you'll cry. It's really so sad. There's nothing left in it. Only the walls. That's all. Everything inside of it was. So we had to move to another office now in Beirut. Yeah, not easy days. Very, very hard days.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, well, Stephen also says, we hope you recover soon. And Pardon says, we will drink more of your wine in support.
Excellent. Excellent. Glad to hear that. That's great. Yeah. I'm sorry it took so long. So instead of finishing at 10 o'clock, what time is it now?
It's 9 over here and 10.
Yeah, it's 10:30. 10:30. Yeah.
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 We still have some questions. Let me see. Anneke asked, do Lebanese people drink wine much?
Well, people, when they think about Lebanon, they think it's a Muslim country because we are in a sea of Muslim population. Well, Lebanon used to be 60% Christian and 40% Muslim. Now it's perhaps 30 Christian and 70 Muslim. We can never cope with them because they can marry 3 or 4 times and then get a dozen children. So while the Christian, they have 1 or 2 children, maximum 3, not more than this. So the balance is really completely deficient now, and the Christians are a minority. So the Christian, they think officially. A large part of the Muslim, they drink unofficially. Under the table, a lot of sales happens. Just to give you an idea, Beirut is divided into the east part is the Christian part and the west part is the north, the Muslim part. And even though it's the Muslim part, we sell more than 250,000 bottles. 250,000 bottles are sold over there. And it's not Christian to go drink it over there, that's for sure. So yes, the consumption in Lebanon is almost 2 bottles per capita. It's not much, but it is something in that. So 40% of our production goes to the export, and 60% is consumed locally. You've been there, Ria, and then you see in restaurants everybody's drinking wine. It's the only Arab country where you can see women with the scarf sitting on a table, and next to it another table having wine or having arak or having whiskey or whatever. This does not exist in any other country, Arab country, because if you put wine or alcohol, no Muslim would go into this restaurant. While in Lebanon it's completely different. They even go and that they accept the fact of people having wine next to them and not to be offended by this.
Yeah, sure.
So yes, there is the consumption of wine, official and unofficial, over the table and down and beneath the table. In teapots.
Teapots as well.
The whiskey, especially the whiskey in teapots, because it has the same color.
Oh.
So no one knows. No one knows what they are drinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I should put a teapot on my desk every now and then. Let me see. We have more questions. Oh, okay. What's the difference in air humidity between French territories compared to Lebanon?
What's the difference of what?
The air humidity.
Humidité de l'air.
Yeah, humidity. Well, it depends on the region. Like Bordeaux, it's like something 60-70% humidity, and even 80%. And that is why when I studied over there, we did in Blanquefort the viticulture, and we went 17 times to spray the vines. Each time it rains, you have to go out back and spray it again. While in Lebanon, starting from beginning of June, not one single drop of rain till October. So having no humidity and no rain, this means there's no development of mushrooms, no development of diseases on the vine. So we are really blessed by having such a climatic condition, and this is why I said microclimatic conditions that are really different from many other producing region.
Yes, it's quite dry, no fungus. Okay.
Je suis encore un petit curieux, Monsieur Maamari. Vous parlez le français mieux que l'anglais ou?
Pardon?
Vous parlez le français mieux que l'anglais ou?
Non, pour moi, c'est beaucoup plus facile de parler en français que de parler en anglais.
Ok, merci. J'étais curieux.
Ouais, j'ai fait mes études chez les jésuites et c'est en français que j'ai fait les études. Ouais.
Ok, merci. J'étais curieux.
Je vous en prie.
Okay, let me see.
Someone was asking about
another question.
About the schist. I couldn't read it. I didn't read it. Schist soil.
Well, I have here a question. Yes.
Someone asked a question about the schist soil, but I didn't read it. I couldn't read the whole question.
Yeah, you mentioned you have schist soils. Any plans to plant Ksara? Whether you would like to plant Ksara on?
Well, we have the Ksara that is in the Réserve du Couvent. It's in the Hermel region, and it's on the schist. Not all of it,
so yeah,
but
they do have.
Yeah, almost 20% of it is planted in Hermel with the schist soil. And I agree with him. Schist is great with the Ksara planted on schist gives great nature. But it's very limited, you know. It's only on 2 mountains in the northern part of the Bekaa that has this schist. And we never understood how this schist came to this part of the world. So this part of the Bekaa.
Okay. Shall we do some more questions before we go to the last one? Is the Lebanese climate stable enough to ensure that you have a good vintage every year?
Well, to be honest, things are changing. It's not the same as it used to be 30 years before. We used to start the harvest on the 15th or 20th of September. Now we start beginning of September. The climatic changes are really hitting us also. But as I said, we're going up in altitude more and more. But we will arrive to a certain period or when we cannot go up anymore. So hopefully this cycle will change, and then the changes, climatic changes will be less severe on us. But yes, we are being affected by this. Yeah. But we produce really good ones every year, because still the rainfall are still the same, between 500 and 700, 800 millimeters of rainfall. Like last year, we had 811 millimeters of rainfall, which is above the average. 2 years before, we had 470 millimeters of rainfall. So it's years are changing, but most of the time we produce almost the same quality year after year. But we see the changes coming.
Yeah, like most countries.
Of course.
Paul says, Elie, when I buy your wines, you can charge me double prices.
What?
Buy a lot of wine, Paul, to pair with the chicken.
It's great. Apparently, I've seen some nice comments on the Reserve du Gouvin. Apparently, it was appreciated.
Shall we taste the last wine together?
Yes, sure. So the last wine is the Reserve du Gouvin. This is our bestseller all over the world. It's #1 seller over the world. It's made from 55% of Syrah and 25% of Cabernet Franc and 20% of Cabernet Sauvignon. So separately fermented, each one differently. The Syrah is the first to be harvested. It's harvested around mid-September, and then the Cabernet Sauvignon is the last to be harvested. And then we do the blending, and after doing the blending in the months of February, we put it in oak cask, and we leave it for 6 to 8 months in oak cask. Not new, second use oak cask, in order not to put too much oak in it, just to put the focus on the fruits and the natural tannin that has this wine. So it has a nice dark ruby red color, really nice color. The 3 grape varieties give nice color grapes. While on the nose, it has this black fruits, blackberries nose, spicy nose, dark chocolate and coffee. Yeah, mocha. I see that in mocha. Yeah, true. It's very nice, intense nose. Very lively attack in the mouth. A lot of fruits. We have the tannin that goes up, but still live and velvety tannin, not aggressive tannin, and very nice length and persistent in the mouth. I see notes of blackberries, of toasted coffee, of black spices, plums, dried plums. It's really complex wine, and with a great ratio quality price, I think.
Yeah, I find this wine has a lot of elegance.
It has.
It's very pleasant to drink, and
exactly. It has its personality. It has its structure, really, and it's stood up to any type of red meat or any type of food. We use it a lot with the lamb, and nowadays we use a lot of lamb in Lebanon. It goes really well with lamb. It goes well with the stew of lamb, barbecue, of course, red meat. Yeah. What else? Yeah, every type of red meat, roasted meat. It goes well with it. Slow cooked lamb. Yeah, I agree. Slow cooked lamb with trimming is really beautiful. Someone suggested with the slow cooked lamb.
And how long?
With kibbe. Yeah, with kibbe. Bravo, Antoine Pekel. Excellent. I agree with you. Kibbe is great with it. I see someone who knows the Lebanese food well.
And how long can you store the wine?
Well, this one could be kept for 5-6 years, no problem at all. It will improve for 5 years, no problem at all. Because you see this velvety but well persistent tannin are really gives a lot of life to this wine. It's a long finish, persistent. I've tasted 2012 some days ago at the office. Someone brought us a bottle of 2012. It was really amazing how well kept it was. Yeah. So, but of course, this one is not meant to be aged for a long period. It's better to be consumed 3-4 years after being produced.
Yeah, you need a lot of patience to age it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but anyway, we never put it on the market before 3 years. So whenever we put it on the market, it's ready to be drunk. So we put it in oak, then we bottle it, and then we keep it for 1 year in bottle, and then we put it on the market. So never marketed before 3 years.
Yeah, it's very well balanced. Yes, I love it.
2017 is drinking really, really very well. Yeah, we can keep it for 8 years as someone has suggested. Well, I tasted the 2012 was really amazing how well kept it was.
Yeah, I agree. You have to drink this wine every month to see its developments. Need a lot of bottles, pardon.
So when you order for Andre Wien,
a new order. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice question. Thijs asked, what would you like to explain to our guests when we are presenting your wines?
Well, I didn't understand. What was the question?
What would you like to explain to our guests when we are presenting your wine? So if he's, I think, Thijs, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that Thijs? Yeah,
in presenting this wine, we can present it as natural wines that are not easy to produce due to the all the conjunction and the problems that we're facing when we're having. But it's a wine that is full with the sun. It's not warm wines. On the contrary, because we are high in altitude, it has nice acidity at the same time, a very nice balance with tannin and the acidity of this wine. So we consider our wines to be really elegant and of high quality. Not to mention because it's our wine. It's the whole Lebanese production is like that. They really produce really high quality wines, but natural wines is the most important thing. Because, as I said, we are lucky to have this type of climate conditions where we do not need to use a lot of pesticide, insecticide. On this side, we are very lucky, but not very lucky with our neighbors. And I cannot say that we are lucky. So at least we have something that is positive. And we're not lucky with our politicians, these robbers, neither with our banks. It's the robbery of the century. Sorry to go back on the subject because it's really making us really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. We have more questions.
Have you noticed that glass now it's
ice?
No, we cannot produce ice wine. We have negative temperature, but you know, it needs to have -8 to do the harvest. No, we cannot produce. We can produce late harvest, very nice late harvest. We have the Moscatel, but not the ice wine. It's not as cold as it should be.
Okay.
Love you too.
Why is it called reserve?
I read it. Why is it red? Why is it called the Reserve du Couvent? Good question. This was discovered when the company, the new company, bought the Chateau Ksara. There was in the monastery, and there was a room that it was called the Reserve du Couvent, the Reserve du Couvent. And when we opened this room, it was full with bottles of 1 liter, not 75, of 1 liter. And this was destined for the high rank priests and the monastery, and they kept it in the Reserve du Couvent, and with other things, of course. So we had this. Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on. Go on.
That's very good.
Oh, someone. Dunya Nasser. Dunya. Hi, Dunya.
Hi.
How are you? تحكي عربي؟
شوية.
Oh. Well, are you Lebanese?
Yes, my father is.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so you come to Lebanon from time to time?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been a very long time.
Oh, yeah. Next time you come, have you visited Ksara?
I have twice. Once as a kid, so of course I couldn't taste. And then recently, I think a couple of years ago as an adult, so I did some tasting.
You should come back and visit us again. Send me your details whenever you want to come. You're mostly welcome. I will take you and I will be the personal guide to you. Can we see your face? I can't see your face.
Sorry about that. I will turn on
No problem. Hi, how are you?
Hi, marhaba.
Your husband is Dutch. Belgium, yeah, okay. So it's not very far. You're not very type Lebanese, Dunya, neither. You're not very type Lebanese.
Yeah, I grew up here, so yeah.
So it's the climate and then it's the atmosphere that changed you. You're becoming more European than Arabic, if I may say.
I suppose, yeah, possibly.
So how about your children? Do they speak Arabic?
I should, yes, you should tell my father. Yeah, he should.
No, but your kids, you have kids?
No, not yet.
Oh, you don't have. Okay. So when okay, I wouldn't say anything. I close my. Was nice meeting you, Mrs. Nasser. So, Dunya, it's a very, very beautiful name. Do you know what does it mean, Mr. Belgium? What's the meaning of Dunya?
You know what it means. I've told you.
What does it mean?
It has different meanings. One is world, and then another one. But I only know
exactly.
Yeah, the world, the universe. Yeah.
Ciao. Bye. Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Ria, what shall we do?
I think we have still some questions.
I'm more than happy to answer this question. What are them?
Paul asked, I bought Ksara wine in 2005. Is the wine still tasteful, you think?
2005 was a great year. Yeah. But not in the Reserve du Couvent. You cannot find the Reserve du Couvent 2005, but you can find the Chateau And what's marvelous in the 2005 was the Cuvée Troisième Millénaire. We have a wine that's been produced with the Petit Verdot, 40%, and 30% Syrah and 30% Cabernet Franc. It's called Cuvée de Printemps. No, Cuvée de Troisième Millénaire. It's a great, great wine. And a great label. Do you have it? Do you carry it, Ria? Do you carry the Troisième Millénaire?
Yeah, I think we had it. Let me see.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I'll send you a bottle in the next order. Promise.
Yeah.
And a bottle to each one of the guests.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, this is a promise, and I did it in front of everybody. So a bottle for each of them.
I will put it to Ria.
Yeah. You have to follow with Ria. Convince her to put a new order.
Yeah, we will work it out. We will.
Great. Great.
And well, Paul, you can invite Martin as well when you open that bottle from 2005. So, well, yeah.
He has it. He has it.
Yeah. Well, Martin, you can send Paul a private note with your telephone number or email, so he can call you when he opens the bottle.
So you have the details. Yeah, you can send it to him, please.
Yes. Yes, and we all would like to know, so maybe we are all welcome.
Okay, and it's an invitation for everybody that is present here. If they want to come to Lebanon, don't come now. You cannot. But once this crazy pandemic is over and you want to visit, it's a really beautiful country and the people are really nice. And I'm sure you'll have a blast, a really nice time when you come. Food is great. The country is really beautiful country. The climatic conditions are, and mostly the wines are beautiful, great wines.
Yeah, it's a lovely country. I hope we can visit you.
You should with the kids this time.
With the kids, with both.
Yeah.
Definitely. So are there more questions? Remarks?
Yes.
Oh, well, a lot of that's the deal. Thank you for the nice presentation. Wish you good luck with the winery and we'll continue to buy and enjoy. Wow, thank you. Thank you, Ria, Andrea, and especially Elie for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Elie.
Terroir.
Thank you, Paul. Great meeting you. We'll chat on private.
We'll visit Lebanon.
You visited Lebanon?
No, we will visit Lebanon after the pandemic.
Excellent. Let me know, please, before you come, and I'll take you to visit the winery. And we go have dinner, the same fish restaurant where we went with Ria. But this time we'll give you the right address.
Yeah, I will help you. Okay, well, any remarks, any questions? I hope you enjoyed it all. Thank you for your time. We said an hour, but it's almost 2 hours. Thank you so
Ria,
much.
bedankt voor dit.
Natuurlijk, Paul. Alsjeblieft. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Thank you all. And yeah, if there are questions or remarks, please let us know. And Elie, special thanks to you. Thank you for your presentation, for your time. I mean, I think it's almost bedtime in Beirut, I guess. Is it about 11 p.m. now?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. It was very interesting.
No problem. I didn't feel the time passes, so it's just to tell you that it was really very, very nice company that I had. I didn't even feel the time passing. Thank you all, and all the and encourage the Lebanese wine production. Drink Lebanese. And
we will
French,
you.
Cheers.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
And we have one question, Iris, but we will return to you, Iris, with the answer to your question about terroir of the wines.
Terroir.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed it.
Very much.
And perhaps next time, maybe Georgia, Armenia, I don't know, maybe
great.
Republic. Who knows? If you have any requests, or let us know, and we'll find some nice winery or winemaker.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Nice evening.
Bye.